I don't know if you've heard this, but Hawke's Bay is the meatball capital of the country.
The main reason that I love the subscription so much is your wine notes on the bottle.
Oh, cheers.
100%.
Because I think there's so much wank in the industry as well. Can I say that? We had enough money to buy a year's premium to ensure my taste buds.
You're listening to the Pepper and Me podcast, Around the Dinner Table with Cherie, Cam and Lorne, where we chat all things food and business. All right, good morning. Welcome back to Around the Dinner Table. How are you? How is everyone?
I'm great, thanks.
We're here with Campbell and we have another special guest here for today. We've got week 2 with no Lorne. So we're on a roll. We're on a right roll without him, aren't we?
Yeah, he's going to get pipped soon, I reckon. He's too busy fishing.
He is too busy fishing. He's actually staying at my house tonight. He's got a wedding, his brother-in-law's wedding tomorrow. So they've taken over my house. I had to move out again this morning and change all the sheets. And I thought to myself, I'm going to go and stay at the campground.
What one?
The PAP campground, because I thought it'd be fun because there's a big pool and
Because you're a camper now, eh?
No, I'm staying in a cabin, obviously. And I thought I had the kids, and then I realised I don't have the kids. So
It's just you in a cabin.
By yourself. That's all right, Nigel, no, mate.
This is going to be fun. I'm going to take the kids to this. There's this huge pool and like big playground and so I'm going to do something else. I'll tell you about that later. Anyway, we better introduce Yvonne. So we're here with Yvonne Lorkin from, many things, aren't you?
I do lots of stuff.
You do lots of stuff. So I guess I know Yvonne through Wine Friend, but you are also the wine lady of New Zealand.
Oh,
Queen of wine.
Can I put that on my bio, on my business card? The wine lady of New Zealand.
Yes, or the wine queen of New Zealand. New Zealand's number one wine.
Wahine.
There you go. That's it. That's you.
It's got a ring to it.
It does have a ring to it. Why don't you tell us about your endeavours?
My endeavours.
Or about yourself.
Okay, I'm Yvonne Lorkin. I'm a wife of one and a mother of two.
Just one husband.
Just one husband at the moment.
Yeah.
Just one. And I'm the co-founder and chief tasting officer of winefriend.co.nz, which is the best damn wine subscription service this side of the Tutaikuri River. It's New Zealand's favourite, best, most excellent OG wine subscription service.
Yeah,
others may try.
Have they tried?
They have tried.
Ah, okay.
And then they've quickly realised how tricky it is.
They don't have you. They've got nothing.
How long have you been going?
10 years.
Oh, wow.
This year. Yeah, so 2025 will be our 10th anniversary, which is crazy.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It goes fast though, doesn't it?
Well, it does. And it's interesting because when we first launched Wine Friend, I ended up doing some judging at a wine show in Auckland because I do a lot of wine judging. And the organiser of the show came up to me and he's in the wine retail business and he goes, I hear you're launching this wine business. I give you girls a year.
Did they? Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's what he said. And I was just like, okay, thanks for the support.
You should send him a bottle of wine. With a
because
yeah.
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah,
well
so
done.
that's it. So I we have a great little team, and my co-founder is Debbie Sutton, who's just the most. She's ferociously intelligent and incredibly imaginative and innovative, and is just a business ninja.
Yeah,
and
she turns the wheels.
She does.
Great pairing for you, isn't she? Like it's so good to have someone who balances you, isn't it?
Because I do I guess I do the language of Wine Friend. I write all the little neck tag notes which go around every bottle. I kind of
bring the personality and
bring the story to it.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. So I
and that's crucial.
Yeah, I do that.
But then sometimes you just need someone to
do
make things happen.
Do the accounts.
That's what I
deal with all of that.
Yeah.
So she's amazing.
Cool.
So I'm very lucky to be in business with her, and we've got 3 amazing investors as well, and they provide us lots of inspiration and guidance and which is really cool. So I do that, and I'm the drinks editor at Dish Magazine.
Yeah.
Love Dish Magazine.
Yeah.
Best food magazine in the country.
Cool.
And it's going gangbusters.
Yeah,
it's defying all of the trends. Like, what's happening in media
magazine
at the moment. Like magazines are just
news falling over.
Yeah. It's really tough out there, but Dish is just roaring ahead. So it's great to be involved in a good news story.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I've been with them it'll be 14 years this year.
Yeah.
which is awesome. So anything remotely fermented, anything boozy comes across my
Yeah,
desk,
okay,
and
cool.
I get to know about it, which is great.
Oh,
So
awesome. Cool.
yeah, I do that, and I freelance write for a bunch of people, and then I volunteer for loads of things. So
Yeah.
I'm the chair of a women's health charity, brand new one called Rose Gold Trust,
Yeah.
and I'm on the Hawke's Bay emergency response team.
Yeah.
So go and do rescues and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. That's
Oh,
what we train
that's
for. It's
so
really nerdy,
cool. I love
like
that.
full driving and flood training and crazy stuff.
That's
and
epic.
yeah,
And then
I'm
you're
on
up here on this film.
Yes, I'm a new member of the board of Screen Hawke's Bay, formerly the Eastern Screen Alliance, which is like Hawke's Bay's film office. So because I love film and television, it was
Yeah.
kind of my life before wine. That was what I
What did
sort
you
of
do in film and television?
like a bit of acting, but just sort of behind the scenes techie stuff for music
cool.
videos and things. And
Wow, I didn't know. I didn't know that.
and I was just fascinated by it, and I thought that was going to be sort of my life. Well, I was involved in the music industry as well, so I used to work for a company called Festival Records, which used to work with Flying Nun and Wildside, Southside, Mushroom Records, all of that. Went from there to BFM in Auckland, which is the biggest alternative radio network in the country. Did shows on the radio, sold some advertising, loved it. Used to manage bands, so I used to manage the Hallelujah Picassos and Superette, shot the music videos and stuff, and used to have a show. I was a VJ on Max TV, which was like a music TV station, which was pretty epic. And then worked at TVNZ for MTV for a wee while until they shafted the channel, and that's when I got into wine, because I went home to Hawke's Bay because I couldn't find any more work and that sort of side of things in Auckland, and thought,
So you
"I'll
went
do
back to
wine."
Hawke's Bay and
Yeah.
did wine.
Yeah, well, wine had kind of been a hobby of mine
Yeah.
for since I was a kid. Actually, growing up in Hawke's Bay, it's always around.
Yeah.
It's I knew it was a pretty famous industry, big deal, but my parents could never afford to buy the good stuff. I mean, we just had like casks of Blenheimer and cooked chasseur in the pantry, but I kind of got into wine when I was at uni and working in bars and stuff. And all through my kind of career in the sort of music and, screen industry in Auckland, I just, while all my friends were sort of spending all their money on haircuts and shoes and drugs, I was kind of spending money on geeky things like wine buyers guides and nice bottles. And I'd nerd out at all the Glengarry's Friday night tastings and stuff. And
cool.
so, decided to make it my career when I ended up going back home to mum. In Hawke's Bay.
That's really interesting. I didn't know that about your background, but that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Like that brings the personality to the wine, doesn't it? Those two. Do you feel like you're in your dream job now? Like this is.
I've got lots of jobs.
Well, I know. I
in
guess,
a
or your
job,
dream position in life where you can do all those things.
Yeah. Well, it's
and,
interesting.
Follow your passion, I guess.
Yeah, because now it's being full circle and getting back into the screen industry. So and helping a great team in Hawke's Bay facilitate bringing productions into our region is amazing. So I kind of feel getting back into that and doing workshops with young actors and stuff is great. Getting back into that, which is nice. And having the wine side of things is good. It's like, I was thinking about it the other day. I've been self-employed since I was 23.
The dream.
Yeah. And the other thing, so way back, this is
Something else to add to
something
the
else.
list.
Because it's a big deal. What it was to me. So I set up, this was way back, like in the mid-90s, I set up a voiceover agency in Auckland when I was working at BFM to get all my mates extra money voicing ads for all these companies that wanted to target the youth market, And it was like, people like Havoc and Jeremy Wells was a newsboy at the time. Lots of, actors, Jackie Brown and cool talent that was hanging around at BFM, started this agency, and the agency is still going. So Big Mouth is one of New Zealand's top voiceover agencies now. Whereas just this random little thing when I started it.
So did you sell it?
Sold it, yeah.
Cool.
And it's been so cool watching it kind of progress.
Brilliant.
With a lot of the OGs, still on the books. And
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so fascinating. I love that. I love that. You think you know someone, eh? And then
Drop a
Dark
bomb.
horse. Dark horse.
do you know what? I want to be like you. Like that's me.
But you're
I
doing
wanna be like,
amazing things.
oh, and actually I did that back then. I forgot about that. And then I do these 10 things. And then, no, that's me. I love to do that. Have my hands in lots of different things.
Not
But
just
it's-
pies there.
Yeah,
good though,
it
'cause I
is.
think-
Keeps you engaged, keeps you
Yeah.
growing and like stimulated and
Yeah.
involved in things.
I just don't want to be like a ropey old root sack, like 80 years old, looking back at my life going, what did I do?
Yeah,
What did I do?
neither. That'd be my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you get to a certain age as well. I can't speak for boys.
Yeah.
But, as a woman, I think, and I talk to my mates about this all the time, we get to this sort of midlife stage and we kind of think, who am I? What am I? Where am I going? What am I doing? And sometimes you just have to look back at your life and go, actually, I've done some cool stuff.
Yeah.
I am who I am because of those things that I
Yeah.
did, those jobs that I had and those experiences, and just kind of fills your cup sometimes because sometimes you question your life.
Yeah.
It's
I
nice
felt a
to-
bit like that last year because I didn't really achieve anything. Like most years, I like look back and I'll be like, oh, I wrote a book, I launched a book that year, or I've
yes.
launched a new business, or
Yeah.
I've had a baby, or done something significant.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think I did anything last year.
Held a boyfriend for a year. So
I
that's
held a
big one.
boyfriend for the whole year.
That's a mess.
That took my full-time energy, didn't it?
Yeah, that's Sweden doing
Can't have everything, can you?
But you had him for a year, and that's an achievement.
I should get a bloody certificate.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I felt like the same. I'm like, oh, I need to, kick my A into G this year and make sure I'm achieving something. But that's probably being a little bit hard.
You're being too hard on yourself. My
Maybe
God,
a little
you've done
bit, yeah.
so much. I've been a massive fan of you ever since Pepper and Me started, and just watching this business grow and seeing you grow, like in your social media and everything, is just. It's almost like I feel like a proud parent, Sheree, a little
Aw,
bit.
That's so nice.
It's weird, but
Well,
I do.
I'll tell you a nice story then, because I've always been a huge fan of yours before I even started Pepper and Me. And we came to a dinner. I came with Sarah Nicholson. She was the editor of Cuisine magazine, and she'd just moved down and just had a baby. We were in our space group together with Pepper.
I remember
so-
Sarah. Yeah, she's
Yeah,
great.
she's great.
Is she good now? I haven't seen her for ages.
Yeah, she's good. Yeah. So our kids were born on the same day. So this was maybe around the month that Pepper and Me started, like when I was testing salts, and we came to a dinner that you hosted down here at a restaurant, and it was a wine pairing.
Oh, yes. What was the name of the? I remember
Oh,
that. It
and
was and it was a Christmassy thing.
It was a Christmassy thing. And
remember.
I think it was about Wine Friend, because I'd
Yeah.
say that's probably when I signed
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
And I was just amazed by you. I was like, oh my God, like what an incredible woman, because you can hold the attention of a room and like just be so like bring the best energy to a room and so
thank
much
you.
knowledge, and everyone was like listening so intently to what you had to say, and you were swirling the glasses. It was this big, I was like, oh wow, that's incredible.
Oh.
And then I saw you at a food show maybe a year later promoting Wine Friend, and this is not very nice, but I saw that you had a chipped nail polish, and I was like, that made me
It's
feel
not unusual. Don't look at my hands.
no, but that's made me feel like, oh my God, I can be like that, because she's not perfect, because that's this image we have of people who are presenters or performers or something, and they're always pristine. And so I was like, that's me, I'm the one with chipped nail polish, or like the clothes inside out, or like, not polished. And so I'm like, oh, that's so cool, like gives you confidence to be like, oh, I can be
So
like
me.
that.
Jesus. I am definitely not.
No, neither am I.
No.
But it's nice for people to, I think, be able to relate, to sometimes be like, that's,
Yeah, you're right.
yeah.
Yeah, I look at people like that and I think,
Yeah.
oh, they're like me. I could be
Yeah,
like that.
that's
That's
right.
kind of my life. Or, yeah.
Yeah, it's not all,
Yeah. Other people walk around with pen on their face too.
yeah. The amount of times
Or a
that
bit of
I've-
pastry in the corner of their
yeah,
gob.
I have a terrible habit of wearing my clothes inside out. And this is the one thing that kept me humble, because when I started to have people recognise me, and I went to the markets once, and I was having people come up to me like, oh, you're Pepper and Me, and this lady was like staring at me for ages, and just sort of like waved, and I like was thinking, oh, she's gonna say, oh, you're Sheree from Pepper, and she like kind of waved at me. She looked a bit nervous, and she's like, oh, I just wanted to let you know your t-shirt's on inside out.
But good, but good that she actually came up to you. That she actually said it, because we need
know,
people like that.
I
We
know.
need people to tell us when our skirt's stuck in our knickers.
I know.
We need people to tell us,
Yeah.
like I say, when you got pen on your face, or
do.
something in the corner of your mouth. But I saw this thing I saw a post on Instagram the other day, Sheree, and there was this woman, and she was saying And she looked great. Like, she had a great outfit on, this kind of jacket, t-shirt, skirt. And she goes, "You'll never guess, guys. I work at a library, and I've had a couple of meetings today with suppliers and blah blah blah. And I thought things were going really, really well until I got home. I did get up really early this morning, kind of got dressed in the dark because I had to get my kids away, blah blah blah. And see this jacket, like, it looks fine from the front. Look what I did." And she turned around and she had her denim jacket upside down. The collar of her jacket was hanging out at her back. She's like, "I went to work all day like this.
Oh
I've
my
been in
God.
meetings." She put her arms in
Oh, I
the sleeves,
love
walked
that
out the door, not realizing that
didn't
she
even-
put it on upside down.
Oh, I love that.
I don't know how you fundamentally do that.
And no one told her.
Oh,
No one told her,
It's
and
harsh.
That's hard. Like, as a woman, you need
You do need
you
someone.
need people to just go, "Excuse me, did you realize you?" Yeah.
I've often had a tag still on my pants too.
Yeah, it's a
You've seen
common
that.
one,
That's a
yeah.
common one, eh? You've picked that up a few times.
That goes on my Instagram story. Thank you.
Walking
What
around.
awkward fashion moments have you had?
No, I'm all good at
You're pretty good. He doesn't have kids and he doesn't rush. Do you know what? Campbell doesn't rush.
And that's what gets
That's
us
very
in trouble
true.
because we're always rushing.
Always. But I can achieve a lot in my day. But you're right. Like, sometimes I'll forget. Like, I'm like, did I even look in the mirror this morning? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted you to tell us about Wine Friend, an overview of how it works real quick.
Yep. Okay. So we're a personalised wine subscription service. So it's very different to other wine delivery services where they just say, right, well, for X price, we'll give you a case of whites or a case of reds or a mixed case or rosé.
Yeah.
What we do is we built software from scratch right at the very beginning that basically matches wine to people's individual tastes. So we found a way to code the different aspects of each different style of wine to the different ways that people taste, right? And so
Wow.
yeah, so we have a survey that you complete when you sign up, and it's real easy. It's only like 8 questions,
Yeah.
and the questions are designed to give us an idea about your thresholds for things like sweetness, heat, spice, just kind of textural things, and also the kinds of things that you prefer. Like, I've just had a cup of coffee. It's a strong black coffee. That's the way I drink coffee. And I do like wine with really strong flavors. We ask people, how do you take your coffee? Do you like it long black, or are you a milky flat white person? Are you more of a cup of tea person, or do you not? What do you season your food with? Are you a salt and pepper person, a chili sauce person, a tomato sauce person, or do you not like seasoning? When you look at a dessert menu at a restaurant, are you the lemon tart person? Are you the chocolate person? Or do you prefer cheese, or are you a brulee person?
Yeah.
That kind of gives us a really good handle on how people taste, right? And then there's a big checkbox thing, a big list of all the different wine styles that are kind of out there, and we ask people to kind of tick all the ones that they would normally choose or buy for themselves. And then we ask people what they feel like spending, and the frequency of delivery that they'd like. And then
So
we
there's
take
3
that.
tiers, isn't there?
There's 3 tiers.
Easy every day, treat yourself,
And
then
icons.
icons and innovators.
Yeah. So it's different price tiers.
Yeah.
Right. And so you choose what you want, and then we put together like a like the first cases. It's either it'll be a 6-pack usually, and we put together what we think that person is going to enjoy based on their preferences and the quiz results. And then we have the thing that is truly unique out of any wine service in the country is we have what's called like a 2-factor engagement, right? So we ask people to rate the wines when they've tasted them. And so everyone has their own little private account. And as soon as you've tasted a wine, you can just click an emoji like a love heart or a happy face or a meh or a sad face. Or you can write notes. We love it when people write notes about their wines. And that comes back. So every day at midnight, we get this great big list of all the notes and all the feedback, all the emojis of everyone that's tasted one of our wines that day. And we can see, okay, like Cherie loved that wine, didn't really like that one, thought that one was okay, loved that one, loved that one, loved that one. So when we go to build your next case of wine, we go, okay, we want to give you more of the styles that you loved, none of the styles that you really didn't like, but we'll probably ring you or flick you an email to say, oh, by the way, what was it about that wine that didn't resonate for you? What didn't you like? Because it could have been faulty. There could have been something wrong with the bottle, or it maybe just wasn't to your taste. And so we will change we'll alter the profile
The flavour
that
profile,
we have. And it's a constant thing because people's tastes change for the seasons, they change as you age. So it's really personal. And we want to get to the point where, this might sound a bit weird, but it's almost like when our wine friend box arrives on your front doorstep or at your reception at your work or wherever it is that you choose to get it delivered, we want people to feel so like comfortable and confident that the wines in there are going to be to your taste, that you just want to hug the box.
Yeah, well, I do. I love to hug my box.
You know, it's like just because wine is so tricky and it's so subjective and even me, and I've been in the wine game for a long time, for decades, and sometimes if I'm in a rush and I get told I've got, that, oh, by the way, my husband might ring and go, oh, we've expected for dinner at such and such a place. Can you just swing by a shop and grab a bottle of wine to bring because I don't have time to go home. And I'll be in the supermarket and I'll just be like, oh my God, even I get daunted by the choice.
Yeah.
And I think, what am I going to buy? And often people just look at the wines that just have all the medals.
Yeah,
the awards.
they do. They do.
Yeah, and you go, okay, I'll just buy that because clearly it's amazing.
Yeah.
But that just means that a group of judges have deemed that that's a really good example of its type.
Right.
That type might not be to your taste.
Yeah.
You might go, oh, we're going out for Thai. I want something like a Riesling or a Gewürz or a Pinot Gris, something aromatic and white. But you might prefer the drier styles.
Yeah.
And yet you see a Pinot Gris on the shelf and it's covered in medals and stuff. You go, oh, grab that. And then you taste it and it's too sweet. But you don't know that the bottle that's sitting right next to it on the shelf is nice and dry, and that's probably the one you should have bought.
Yeah.
But I know that.
You do know that.
I know that. So that's why I'll make sure that you only get the drier styles, in your box.
It's very amazing. It's very cool and it's very unique.
Thank
and
you.
the best thing the main reason that I love the subscription so much is your wine notes on the bottle.
Oh, cheers.
100%. You don't get that anywhere else. I've never seen that anywhere else. So you get your bottle of wine and on the tag is a full description of the wine.
Well, it's what I think about the wine.
What you think about the wine, and then a food match suggestion.
Yeah, always a food match.
Perfect, because I don't know about wine. I love wine, red wine, but I'm not I'm definitely not a super sort of wine person.
Yeah, and you don't have to be.
And I love being able to open my cupboard and I sort of stock my bottles until my dad comes and drinks them all. And then I can go through, I'll be like, oh, cool, I'm cooking a beef Wellington. I'm just going to go through my tags and I've got 20 or 30 bottles sitting there and pull one out that pairs with the wine. That's incredible.
Thank you. And
so cool.
I mean, I like reading interesting notes about wine, but I don't like reading boring notes about wine.
No, well, you make them very interesting. Sometimes I think you're like, oh, gosh, it smells like I've been tramping through the bush, trek and I've licked the side of a leaf and there's been a bird fly past and there's notes of its feathers or something.
Oh, yeah, that was that Central Otago Pinot
But I rate it. I'm like, oh, God, you make it enjoyable for
I just kind of
everyone to drink wine.
Yeah, the last thing I want to read is something boring about the wine. I don't know, it's going to sound possibly a little bit odd, but when I'm tasting wine, I'm thinking about the aromas and the flavours and the textures, but it's like I think about what kind of person is this wine? What kind of personality does this wine have? If I was drinking this wine, what kind of experiences would I be having with this wine? I feel sort of slightly like the wine is almost like it has a personality, or it's a person, or it's a mood. It could just be a vibe.
That's a great way to
wine
think
just
of
could
it.
be a vibe, and
Love that.
it might remind me of just a slice of life experience. But I want to sort of try and weave in a little bit of a story about the wine. Like, who's the winemaker? Oh, he's a surfer and who owns a dog of dubious breeding and started a vineyard because he could grow pot really well, thought he could give grapevines a go.
Yeah.
And low.
Yeah.
It doth occur.
Well, But that's so cool. Could to be able to pull that out of your cupboard and if you've got people around for dinner and give them that story is amazing. It's so cool.
Well, it's
And
like
the
it's upskilling a little bit too.
It is upskilling. It is upskilling. Or even if you don't remember it, like everyone's impressed by you. That's for sure.
Well, it's about just kind of, I guess, giving people a little bit of extra knowledge to help you sound slightly flashier in front of your friends.
But that's what I do with food, I guess. Like I love when there's a story behind the grower or the maker or why I love it or like and I feel that passionate about food suppliers.
And that comes through when you do all of your posts and that. It's amazing. You can tell it's not.
Yeah, so I
genuine.
rate that that same thing when it comes to wine. Well, I was going to ask you about your palate.
Yeah.
Because there's such intricate layers in that. Like I don't have my palate's not that good, probably because I blast it with sesh oil and man grind all day every day.
You'd be surprised how good your palate is.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
But do you have a super? Are you a super taster? Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we did. Like, did you know about what we did when we first started Wine Friend?
No.
With, we did a kind of slightly. I don't know. There's a term for it, and honestly, my menopause brain has made my command of the English language so bad lately. Okay, we did a thing.
Yeah.
I forget the term for it. We did a thing.
Guerrilla.
Guerrilla marketing. I don't know. It's like we didn't have. Well, we didn't have any money.
Like Banksy.
Yeah, kind of like that.
What is that called? Is it guerrilla marketing? Some sort of marketing.
Some sort of marketing.
I wanted to do it and go and plant my things all over the airport.
Yeah, something like that. So we were like, we've got to create something out of nothing because we had no money in the very beginning and we needed a marketing hook, and we'd heard about all these like celebrities insuring parts of their bodies for exorbitant sums of money. I think Beyonce insured her legs for bazillions of dollars, and you know, other people, and you hear about, you know, people insuring, like musicians insuring their hands or whatever. So we had enough money to buy I think it was a year's premium through Lloyd's of London to insure my taste buds.
That's good.
That is great.
Yeah, so we did it because Lloyd's of London, I think, was the only no New Zealand insurance company would do it. We rang all the because we wanted to be able to promote a New Zealand insurance company, but none of the companies in New Zealand would do it. Lloyd's did it, but to kind of add to that, so yes, we insured my taste buds or my whole olfactory system.
Your bottom half of your face.
Yeah. So, and then we took to prove that I was a super taster. There's a world standard smell test because you can't taste without smelling. They're all interlinked. And I went to a ear, nose, and throat specialist who was able to source the test from. I think the world standard is with the University of Pennsylvania. University of Pennsylvania, or it might be Philadelphia.
World standard of super tasters.
Yeah, so I'm sorry if I got the university wrong. It was a long time ago.
No.
And so I did live on camera, did this test, and it's like a scratch and sniff test, and you have to get X amount of these things right. And I got everything right. I got everything right.
Oh my God.
Bar one, which ended up being root beer. Because it's an American test.
It is an American test,
I never encountered root beer before.
No, we don't have it here.
No, so that was the one thing I got wrong. But my result ended up being, yes, I am a super taster.
Yeah.
But loads of people are. They just don't know it.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Long story short, got a lot of media attention.
Yeah, perfect.
It was great. It was perfect at the time.
How much did it cost to insure your taste buds?
I couldn't possibly tell you. A couple of K. But you know, the thing is, though, if I lost my sense of smell and taste, or just sense of smell, I'd be buggered. Because that's my career.
Well,
it's my ability to.
You would think that they would insure that in New Zealand because you can have insurance for what if you can't work. They always ask that. Like, what if you ended up in a coma or can't work?
Yeah.
So you would.
My ACC levies are quite high.
Oh yeah. So ACC, I guess.
But that's why I'm really careful about like touch wood. This is wood.
Yeah.
I haven't had COVID yet. And
true. You'd have to be very careful.
One of the things,
and what you put in your mouth, you'd have to be a bit careful.
Yeah, but also one of the symptoms of COVID, or one of the side effects, is you lose your sense of smell and taste for X amount of time. And I've got colleagues around the world that, for some, it hasn't
come back,
or it's come back
not
strangely. You know, there are some things that they can't interpret well, so I can't afford for that to happen. So that's why I still wear a mask when I'm in planes, or in big, groups.
Hey, well, do you know what? That's the first explanation of someone being that
really
where I'm
genuine,
like, hey, do you know what? I'm fine with it.
you.
You're not being precious.
I'm not being precious. It's my job,
It's
you know.
your job, yeah,
just
and
want
it's
that
your everything.
Yeah.
Amazing. I reckon it's my sense of smell that's always let me down because I've always had bad
Oh,
sinus. So as a
okay.
kid, and I always, but it's actually the last few years it's been 100% better. I don't know why. It was just like growing out of all the allergies and everything.
Yeah.
So maybe I can.
Maybe.
Is
look
it something
into
you were
that.
born with, or did
I
you
think it
develop
is. Yeah, I think it is. But you can develop it. So I remember when I was really little, mum and dad were always moaning at me because we'd go on these like tramps and walks and things, and they'd be charging ahead, and I'd be at the back eating leaves and flowers and sniffing stuff and picking things up. I was very kind of always sniffing stuff and,
Wow.
tasting things
Yeah.
and yeah. But I think people underestimate their own abilities to smell and taste things. I mean, I have a unique ability to be able to smell and taste things and verbalize that. To actually go, this is what I'm smelling.
Yeah.
This is the spice. This is the fruit. This is the herb. This is the whatever, and be able to put it into words. And I think for a lot of people, they can do those things, but not put them into words. And so therefore
True.
they're not. They don't think they're good at it, but they are good at it. Just
Yeah.
perhaps I might have a bit of extra skill in
Verbalizing.
it. And the other thing is people don't take notice of stuff. Like I say to people, look, if you really want to, and this is great if you're worried about dementia or, neurological issues as you get older. One of the key indicators of issues are when you can't verbalize what you're smelling or tasting, that disconnect between it. And one of the tests for when they're analysing whether someone has got early onset dementia or whatever is putting something really strong like lemon or garlic or peanut butter on a ruler and putting it close and saying, what is
that?
what is it? What are you smelling? And if they can't answer
that
within a certain amount of time,
Yeah.
so you know
Wow.
how smells and tastes bring back memory.
They do.
They're so intrinsic with your memory that it's a thing. I don't know the
Yes.
science behind it, but it's a thing. So what I encourage people to do is, okay, the next time you're at the supermarket or farmer's market or at the deli or whatever, pick stuff up and sniff it. Next time you're having a coffee, have a big sniff. Next time there's a weird fruit in the supermarket that you're not sure of, pick it up, sniff it. Make sure people aren't watching you too closely. But if there's a spice, like in your warehouse downstairs, you've got all those spices and salts and seasonings and things. Just smell them every now and again, just to bring those snapbacks.
Yeah,
to
hey,
your
I
brain.
like that.
Look at the
That's
word. Yes, it's za'atar. Yes, it's kasundi.
Slow
It's
down
cardamom.
and-
It's pepper. It's blood. Do you know, like pick up that bunch of coriander and sniff it. Mint, sniff it. Everything. And it just kickstarts your
those
memories and
connections in the brain.
yeah. And then when you smell that in a glass of wine,
True.
you can go, oh shit, yeah, cinnamon.
Cloves, yeah.
Cloves.
Yeah, okay, cool. Oh, that's a great idea to stop or to slow down and
Yeah.
smell the
sniff
spices.
Sniff the spices.
Love
smell
it.
the roses.
Oh, how cool. What a good idea. Everyone
Yeah.
can do that.
There's just other stuff around
It's a
you as
wild
well.
thought,
Like
really.
next time it's raining, and you're out in the street, smell that smell that's in the air around you. It's called petrichor, the smell of rain on hot tar or hot rocks or the street or the footpath. It's a beautiful smell.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I
and you
love
get it in wine.
Cool.
So yeah.
Wow. You get the smell of rain on the road?
Yep.
I rate that. I love
Yeah,
that.
I love that smell.
Yeah, that's great.
So
That's so cool.
It's a cool smell.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, that's great. So, Wine Friend, people can sign up online.
Yes.
www.winefriend.co.nz.
Yep.
Go and check it out. It is an epic subscription. And I did forget, but you were just telling Cam before that you've added gin
Yeah.
too. So, you can switch out a bottle of wine for a bottle of gin. So, if you're into the gin and tonics at the moment, which everyone is,
Yep.
you can do that with your wine.
Well, yeah. So if you want to subscribe, you can actually put Yvonne, so my name, YVONNE, in the promo code, and you'll get 24.99% off your first delivery.
24.99% off. There you go.
But
First delivery. Cool.
you don't have to be a subscriber
You can go on and buy a case
You
of
can just
wine
buy a
or-
case of wine. You can buy, like, we've got these little packs called Grab and Goes, which are like, friendly reds or gorgeous Chardonnays or rosés.
Yeah.
You can buy mixed case. You can buy like 3-pack or a 6-pack or a dozen. We do gifting, which has been great for us.
Yeah,
so-
that's always good too to be able to send a case to someone else.
Or just send a single bottle if you want. Like if you want to say like, thank you or
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
congratulations,
Yeah, anything.
happy birthday,
Yeah.
or I'm sorry to someone, then
Valentine's
Day.
you can just go on and just send a gift, and we'll send it, and it's in a beautiful little gift box.
Yeah, cool.
Handwritten note. We'll deliver anywhere in New Zealand.
Oh, nice.
Anywhere.
Perfect.
I know.
Oh, well, check it out, guys.
I really need to know this question.
Yeah,
How
what?
much wine is sitting in your warehouse?
In our warehouse.
Yeah, like to have the amount of SKUs that you'd probably have for the amount of tastings and
Yeah, it's a lot, but we're quite lean. We operate lean, so we do like because we know
Yeah.
this is getting a bit geeky, but because we're a private subscription service and personalized, we know like almost the exact number of people
Yeah.
that we will send a particular wine to. So we don't have to buy massive amounts of
right.
each wine. Sometimes we'll only buy a couple of cases, sometimes we'll buy a pallet, sometimes we'll buy, because we only want to buy as much as we need for that group of people.
yeah.
For the subscription.
For that, because we're not a company that goes, end of season massive sale to get rid of stock
No,
or
you
anything.
don't have
That's
to.
not what we're about. We're not, we don't have time for that.
That's the brilliance of a subscription model.
So it just means in our warehouse we can just turn things over.
Yeah.
Amazing software
quickly.
that you've developed.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
assuming that forecasts that for you as well.
Yeah, it does. We've spent pretty
Yeah,
all of the money. So Debbie and I don't pay ourselves much at all. We're because all of the money, any profits go back into perfecting that software and making sure the customer experience is just bang on. We just have this relentless customer service mentality, and that software is a big part of it. So we're quite proud of what we've built, and we're always improving it.
Yeah.
And it costs money, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
So we're kind of, we're a wine delivery service, but we're almost like we're a technology business. We're
100%.
actually, so the software that we use to personalize the wine for WineFriend, you could use our software for anything that's personalized. You could use it for coffee. You could use it for olive oils, perfumes,
Spices.
spices.
Yeah.
Things that people have a lot of choice over, but want a
This is-
personalized system. So our software is adaptable for so many different
actually
industries.
incredible. So because everyone said to us like, "Oh, do a subscription." And we're always like, "No, because we'll send things and you won't like them." And so we do a subscription now, ours, but we only do one. And you've got the option you can 2 days before reveal it, and you can pause it. Otherwise, it's a surprise.
Yeah.
So if you're like, "Oh, there's something spicy in there, I don't like spicy," I'll pause it. But
Yep.
imagine doing that and you just had a printout of, look, these people don't like spicy, so they're going to get this mild one, and these people love to do salads, so they're going to get the extra salad sprinkle, or oh wow, maybe
know.
that's in our future.
Maybe that's in your future.
Incredible. that's really, really interesting.
Yeah, but that's interesting that you bring that up with your subscription, that people can pause it, they can change things, and that's always been a really big deal for us, is that we never wanted people to feel like they're locked into something. Like, I mean, I've been in subscriptions that it's so difficult to pause or
get
stop
out.
or to get out.
Yeah.
It's just horrible, and you end up with a really bad taste in your mouth. And we
do.
just didn't want that. So people can, when they have full control over their own account, so they can pause at any time. You can chop and change the styles of wine that you want. So summertime comes along, you might want more white wines, more rosés, whatever. You can control all of that in your own account. Stop, start, whatever, and it's great.
Yeah,
We want
cool.
people to be able to do that.
Gives them
Oh,
the
well
power.
done. How
Yeah,
exciting. I
bring the
hope you
power.
get some new subscribers from this. Code is Yvonne.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I wanted to talk quickly before we run out of time about food and beverage in Hawke's Bay, because we haven't really had anyone else on from the region. So tell me what's going on down there. Tell me about restaurants.
Oh,
what's
goodness.
the best dish at the moment?
Oh my God.
What's your favourite place to eat?
A bottle of wine.
A
Yeah.
bottle of wine. Oh no, we've talked loads about wine, but there's a cool thing. I don't know if you've heard this, but Hawke's Bay is the meatball capital of the country.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, I
so
have not heard that.
but not
Pardon?
meatballs like Italian meatballs,
No?
bakery meatballs.
Oh,
The
okay.
meatballs that you get from like the bakery, which are
Crumbed.
crumbed and fried, baked, whatever they are. The
Yeah.
crumbed meatball, and inside you've either got a really gooey, mincy mixture of some dubious,
What?
Yep.
or
heard of
We
this.
don't
oh
get
my
them up here.
no, because it's a Hawke's Bay. People are so into it. Like
Yeah.
in every kind of bakery,
Deep fry meatball.
yeah, will have their own kind of meatball flavour or style,
Yeah.
and people are fiercely loyal to
Wow.
their favourite ones. So It's a phenomenon.
Yeah.
It's like, you know how Southland has the cheese roll thing?
Yeah.
Hawke's Bay is the meatball capital of the country. And so there's actually, because we've got this festival each year called FAWC, FAWC, the Food and Wine Classic, where it's like a week of events centred around food and wine and, you know, guest chefs come from around the country and do these amazing events. You know, people that have gorgeous homes will open up their homes and they'll have these dinner parties in their homes and themed gorgeous things, special tours, walks. It's very cool. This year's Fork event has a meatball challenge where some of Hawke's Bay's top chefs are competing to make the best example of the Hawke's Bay meatball.
Oh my gosh,
Which is going to be super cool. So there's that. So I love that. I mean, you've got the Hawke's Bay Farmers Markets every Sunday at Timona Showgrounds in Hastings, which is one of the first in the country, and it's epic, and it just gets bigger and better every year. I love that so much, and I spend stupid amounts of money at that farmers market every week. I love it.
Incredible.
You've been to I did go to it.
It's so fun.
When I went down.
Yeah, it's the best. Lots of great little new restaurants and things happening. A couple of great little Mexican tapas spots in Havelock North that have opened up. There's a great place in Hastings in the Toy facility called Cellar 495.
I was just going to mention that because we
We've
went
been
there.
Yeah, and that's just going from strength to strength. It's
Yeah.
just great. So gorgeous little tapas, great wine, owned by Mike Henley, who's a master of wine. He's actually the 495th master of wine in the country, hence Cellar 495. So
Is that in the country or in the world?
in the country.
Oh
no, in the world.
It's in the world, eh?
So you know more about the master of
No,
wine
well,
program than I
because
do.
it really stuck with me.
Yeah.
495, and there was only, you know,
Only
500 or
400, yeah.
whatever, 495 masters of wine
In the world.
So it's very
Yeah.
special.
And New Zealand has in terms of per head of population, New Zealand has, I think, 15? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Don't quote me on that, but
Okay.
way more proportionally than any other country in the world. So that's
very
kind of cool.
Yeah, loved it. The food was amazing there. I loved it. I
Yeah.
thought it was beautiful.
So good.
And the wine.
Napier's just going off. There's great spots opening up. It's actually the food scene in Hawke's Bay is good.
Yeah.
It's tricky. I mean, hospitality is going through a little bit of a a bit of a dive at the moment, but I think people still want to treat themselves. And if your prices are good and I think if your menu isn't too broad, if your menu's compact, concise, then you'll be fine. You know,
It's a beautiful place to live.
Yeah.
it is a beautiful place to live, and I love it because, I mean, particularly for what I do, if I have a wine question or I can just jump in my car, drive 10 minutes down the road, and I'm in a vineyard, or if I'm at a winery, I can ask the winemaker questions, that kind of thing. It's a tense industry though. You know, I think a lot of people assume that if you're in the wine game, it's all, you know, Range Rovers and holidays in Fiji and kids in private school and all that kind of carry on. But it's actually, there might be a few people that have been in their business for a long time and they've got to that level, or maybe overseas investment means there's a lot of money in it, but very rare. They're all just farmers at the end of the day. And it's like, even if you can get through a whole season and get the wine into the tank and it's ready to go, stuff can happen. Shit can go wrong. You know, some intern might back the forklift into the tank and spill the whole lot, or something might go wrong at bottling, or, you know, you just never know.
Yeah.
And it's just luck, really, that gets them through the year, and it doesn't happen every year. Like 2025, this vintage is looking okay, but we've had a really wet, weird, sort of cool January. Harvest won't be until, you know, mid-February, early March. So we've got time for it to dry out. But it's pretty intense when it's a wet, when it's lots of rain, because grapevines, they're just weeds. They just want to grow. They soak up all the water and it goes in heaps of leaves. And when there's too many leaves, the bunches can't ripen, or there's disease pressure. All of that sounds very nerdy, but then we had a cyclone in 2024, great vintage, but bugger all fruit. Hardly any of it, because the previous year, cyclone year, and the previous year before that, very cool, wet, windy, weird.
Yeah.
So not very good quality. And then before that, we had 2019, 2020, and 2021, like the holy trinity of vintages, all three. Fucking amazing.
Okay.
If that's the thing. So if you get a bottle of wine from Hawke's Bay, particularly the reds and the Chardonnays that say 2019, 2020, 2021,
Very
they're
good.
The
Yeah.
2020
Oh,
so
cool.
fair from
Yeah.
Jackie Ranch.
Oh,
Isn't that interesting? This is so interesting. How's the recovery been from flood season? Because that's obviously very sensitive.
Yeah.
topic, and
I'm amazed.
still
at
a
it.
lot of pain and
There is a lot of pain out there. I mean, okay, so how do I put this? Yeah, so there are a lot of people. They'll be traumatized for life.
Yeah.
As because of what they went through. It was the most horrific weather event we've ever had. People died.
I know.
You know, it just horrible, and people lost their properties. They lost their pets. They lost their farms. They lost their animals. You know, terrible. And you know, there are still significant bridges that haven't been rebuilt, and access to people's properties in some areas is still treacherous.
Yeah.
In need of repair. But it's incredible that, I mean, it's coming up 2 years, and there are areas that were heavily flooded, completely, you know, devastated, that you drive past now and it just looks green and fine, and you'd never know anything happened. The cleanup has been incredible. Like
Yeah.
the speed and the efficiency has been a marvel, actually. Like, no one could have, when it all happened, everyone was just going, oh, how are we going to fix this?
Yeah.
This is nuts. But they've done it. But yeah, there are still areas that do need to be repaired, to be cleaned. You know, if you look around, sometimes if you drive into the Esk Valley and you look past certain trees, you'll still see there's a tractor sticking out of a window of a house. You know, you'll still see massive tree stumps sticking out of people's car windows, a car upside down in the corner of a field, a shipping container upside down,
Yeah,
you know,
as you sort
at
of
the river mouth.
as you come into Hawke's Bay, isn't it? And it's that
so-
like every time you come in, it's that like
yeah.
bang
And
reminder.
in places like Puketapu and the Dartmoor Valley and those areas. My parents, my mum and stepfather have a farm up in Pātoka. They were cut off for weeks.
Wow.
And their farm, some of the most beautiful, you know, parts of like river valleys and that kind of thing, they've all just been devastated. Just the land just crashed. So a lot of the pretty parts of the farm don't exist anymore, which is really sad.
Very sad.
Yeah, but by and large, though, the recovery's been incredible.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of work to do with people getting compensated and all of that. You know.
Yes. Yeah.
Has the hospitality scene, like the tourists coming in for the wineries and stuff, built back up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's coming back.
Yeah.
And, you know, it can always be better,
Yeah.
but it's actually been, people have been supporting Hawke's Bay a lot, you know, with events, you know, people coming into Hawke's Bay, the marathon, concerts, festivals. It's been really good. So thank you, New Zealand.
Cool.
It's New Zealand for your
Oh,
support.
awesome. That's cool. Favorite foods I've got down here. Is there any sort of favorite foods that you have or standout dishes anywhere in the country? Favorite dish? Big question, isn't it?
Big question.
Yeah.
Really big question. Goodness.
Or top three or whatever comes to mind that you love.
I am, every time I go to Auckland, which is a lot because our Wine Friend office is based in Auckland, every time I go to Auckland, if I've got a spare couple of hours, I will do whatever I can to get to Alma in town. Like Alma on, it's in the sort of Britomart kind of quarter.
Yeah.
It's Spanish tapas style, the most amazing cooked over coals, smoky, amazing cuisine. The wine list is great, but the food,
It's good, isn't it?
I hoover there. Oh, they've got like a tostada, like an
Anchovy
tomato.
toast, eh? With
My
the smoked
God,
tomato.
the smoked tomato
That's just-
anchovy tostada.
That introduced me, I think, to my love of anchovies. That toast.
So
Smoked
good.
tomato, and it's like grated almost, and smoked
Yeah.
over the coals with this anchovies on it.
It's so good.
Prosciutto, yeah.
I
So
will-
simple, so good.
So simple. I will just have that all the time. I'm a big sucker for Japanese food, so you know, go, you know, any Japanese place, I'll spy it. I go, I must go there. Because I can't. If I see a beef tataki or tuna tataki on a menu, I'm a tataki nut.
Yeah, it's really good, isn't it? There's a great one in
I'm a
Alma.
tataki. No.
Hawke's Bay has a beautiful fusion restaurant somewhere. Is it in Havelock? I can't remember the name of it. It was beautiful. We went and dined there. They had these
Mary's? No, that's something else.
we had all
Milo.
sorts. Like real fancy sort of sashimi, sushi. We
Oh,
had
Piku.
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 Piku. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We went there, had an amazing meal.
Yeah,
there.
it's kind of Asian fusion,
Just
but
sort of
with
a
a bit of
fusion-y-
Spanishy things as well. With a bit, of,
Yeah.
there's all sorts. It's quite random.
It is
A bit of
random.
a mongrel menu, but in the best way.
Yeah, because they had,
Mongrel. I've never heard that.
they had
Mongrel.
kumara wedges. Yes, yeah, and I was like, that's random sushi, but who cares? It was great.
Yeah,
Love
yeah.
it. I like it like that when there's no rules.
Yeah, yeah, and any sashimi. I'm a big raw fish fan.
Yeah,
Like there's, I don't know, like the yellowfin tuna have been coming down the east coast.
Oh God, it's been
There's
a
a lot
great
of
tuna season.
great yellowfin tuna coming into my house.
Tuna's incredible,
and
eh?
I love it's so hard.
What's your favourite bottle of wine? Eva.
Careful, that's like asking your favorite child.
Yeah.
Yeah,
don't
I could
know.
pick. None of them.
Yeah.
I can. Can I say like the one that actually really
like a
made
mem-
me start my
Oh, yeah,
career?
yeah.
Because I remember it to this day. I
Yeah.
still remember what it tasted like. So I went to university for about a year and a half
Yeah.
in Canterbury in the early 90s. Left school, went to Canterbury University, got a job I lied about my age to get a job
Yeah.
in a bar called the Worcester Bar
Yeah.
on Worcester Street in Christchurch. And it was attached to Noah's Hotel at the time. And the Worcester Bar was like this club, like it was awesome. And we had like Greg Churchill was the resident DJ. It was like everyone would go there at Worcester. It was kind of great. It was kind of like a house in hip hop. Anyway, long story short, I was working there and I was cleaning up. It was like 3 a.m, cleaning up after my shift, and the concierge from the hotel came through into the club with a bottle of wine in his hand. And he goes, "Oh, these people left this on their table after they finished dinner, and I don't drink wine, but I know you do." And he gave it to me, and it was a bottle of Timata Coleraine 1989. And Timata Coleraine is arguably the most famous wine in the country. And
Okay.
definitely the most famous red wine in the country. Coleraine, it's the aristocrat amongst
Okay.
Bordeaux-style wines, Cabernet-based. It's like you've heard of Penfolds Grange. It's like it's an Australian heritage
Yeah.
icon. It's
Yeah.
like our version of that. It's held in such high regard. And I knew that it was special because people had talked about it. I knew it was expensive, but honestly, expensive at that time was about $25
Yeah.
a bottle.
Yeah.
Now it's $125.
Yeah.
Might even be more. Anyway, so half a bottle there.
Yeah.
And this is in the days when people could smoke in bars and everything. It
Yes.
was crusty and
Yeah,
there was
yeah.
beer all over the counter and it was stinky. And I remember I poured myself a glass and because I was thinking, oh, this is really special. This is a real treat. And I remember sipping it and just thinking, this is the most insanely delicious thing I have ever put in my mouth. This smells amazing. It tastes amazing. It feels like velvet in my mouth. It was like the silky ribbon going down my esophagus. It was the most beautiful, spicy, fruity, cocoa-y, espresso-edged thing. And I was like, I need to know how to make this. I need to know what this is. I want more.
Yeah. Wow.
Bring it to me. Oh my God. And it was then that I just started wanting to taste more wine and just learn about it. And I just wanted to be in the industry. And then when I realized that to learn how to make wine, you needed to know maths and chemistry and stuff. And I went, no, I can't do that. But I know how to market it and I know how to write about it and, I know how to taste it. And so that's kind of what set me on that.
That's so
That
cool.
path.
What a
Yeah.
story. I absolutely love that. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
it was pretty special. And it's still, you can sometimes pick up that bottle at auction sites.
Wow.
Oh, wow. It's that.
Yeah, it's you'll never be able to.
The 89.
The 89.
Was that the best year or was it
Um,
still a good?
It's still good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still good from what I hear. I haven't,
Yeah.
obviously tasted it
Yeah.
in a long time, but it's still good. It's considered a classic.
Mm.
It was one of the early wines. I think Timata's first vintage, I think, was 1981. So it was still pretty early on in the piece.
Yeah. Oh, how cool!
Yeah.
You've actually really inspired me to get back into my wines. I
Yay.
think today.
Yeah, no, I've got the bug.
Yeah, you've got the bug. Campbell's got the bug. You're quite.
Yeah, what are
Campbell's
your
quite
favourites? What do
into
you like?
Wine.
Probably the best one I've ever tasted is that 2020 Sophia.
Oh, the Craigie Range Sophia.
Yeah,
Beautiful. Merlot
yeah,
based.
that's-
Gorgeous.
Punchy as. And
Yeah.
then the Grey Wacky Sav.
Do you know why? I love that too. I love it because it's toasty. It's made, the barrel fermented the Sauvignon, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's got a sort of a textural, toasty
It's like
note to it.
Yeah, but it's also like, it's not like a normal Sav.
No.
Sav's probably too dry for me
Yeah.
on the basic
It doesn't have that. So normal Sauvignon Blanc tends to have that kind of squinty acidity, that super grassy, limey,
Yeah.
passion fruity, high acid, you know, character.
Yeah.
Whereas the grey wacky is more sort of soft and gentle and textural and meaty and
I don't know. Yeah,
deliciously.
that's the best thing.
awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have been getting quite into it. I like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
When you talk about, just for everyone listening, when you talk about vintages,
Yep.
do you want to explain how that works?
Yeah. Okay. Because we kind of forget that we say these terms. There's always wine
Yeah.
terms that just they're natural for wine people, but
Yeah,
not so
yeah.
much other people. So vintage is essentially vintage is another name for when the wine was made or harvested.
Yeah.
Right? So when the grapes were harvested, the year that the grapes were harvested is the vintage, right? So the Craigie Range Sophia was the 2000 that you was
The 2020.
the 2020, yeah, so that you tasted. So in the year 2020, those grapes were harvested, and over the coming 2 years were made into wine.
Yeah.
But it's when the grapes were harvested is the vintage, and
That's
the
the
date
year.
will be on the bottle. So when we say it was a really average vintage, it means that
That year's
that
harvest.
year was the harvest wasn't that, the fruit quality wasn't that great, or if it was not that great, or if it was an amazing vintage, the fruit was looking outstanding on the vine, everything was great. Sometimes you'll see on sparkling wine, mostly in champagne, you might see the letters NV, which means non-vintage.
Okay.
Yeah, and when you see that, the wine itself is a blend of different parcels of wine
Yeah.
from different vintages or different years of harvest that they have blended together to create a style.
Yeah.
So let's say you're in the underground cellars at Bollinger, they will have parcels of wine, still wine from 20, 30 different vintages that they will portion together to create their style.
Okay.
Yeah, so that it's the same every year. Because every harvest is different. It has a different personality, different aromas, flavours than the one before.
Yeah.
But if you're in the business of selling champagne or sparkling wine that is famous for a certain style, you want to keep that style consistent. And in order to do that,
You gotta blend.
You've got to blend. You've got to
Yeah.
have all those different vintages to keep everything the same.
Yeah.
So if you see NV on a bottle, you know that it's a
Interesting.
blend of vintages. But sometimes a champagne house or even New Zealand's sparkling wine producers, sometimes they'll declare a vintage and they'll put the date on the label. And what that means is that their winemakers have decided that the fruit from that year was so amazing, it was so epic, that they're going to make one wine just from that harvest. And it's going to be,
Right.
reflective of how good it was.
Yeah.
And there won't be as much of it. There might only be
And that's your premium.
and that will be their premium.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's
That's-
really.
so
a
that's
good
what vintage means.
That's
So
a good way to
interesting.
explain it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. So winemakers are a bit like crazy, some of them, eh? Like, so I'm
Eccentric.
very eccentric. My
Yeah.
favourite one that I've been to, I'm just trying to remember the name. It was the logo's a snail, and it was in the Blenheim
Oh,
region, and does it start with M? or-
Mahi.
Mahi.
Brian Bicknell.
Yeah.
Love Brian.
Really, really.
Oh, he is
standout personality.
such a dude.
He's such a dude.
Oh my goodness.
He was hilarious. He
Yeah.
took us around, and he had 6 or 7 of his family and friends trying different blends, and they were playing with it. But
Oh, he is so great, and I love him because he can communicate about wine and about what he does
yeah,
at such a accessible level, and he doesn't take himself or his brand too seriously.
no,
He'll take the piss,
he does take the piss.
and I love it.
Yeah, it
because
was
I think
cool.
there's so much wank in the industry as well. Can I say that too?
Oh, absolutely. Because there
Like,
is,
you
and
can
it
say
puts
whatever
people
you want.
off. When
Yeah.
you meet a person like him who's so open and so funny, and
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I get this. You're an artist in some ways. Like
Totally.
you're creative. You're here mixing and tasting and having fun. It's so cool.
You saying that he's an artist is so true, and it's really like wine. And I've said this loads of times. I believe, and so many others do as well, that wine is like this. Wine happens when art and science collide. It's the result of that collision of someone's imagination and artistic vision with chemistry, maths,
Yeah.
chemistry, all that sort of
True.
stuff. A
Yeah.
method, machinery. And I love that.
Yeah.
I really
is
love
cool.
that. That's what makes wine so cool and so special and so fascinating for me. It's quite a magical product, really.
Mm.
You know, makes me quite
Oh,
emotional.
that is, yeah. Oh my gosh, isn't it? It's just so inspiring. Listening to anyone with passion for anything, actually, I think is like inspiring. Love it. Love it.
Thanks.
Oh, you got me all excited now. I've been terrible because, well, one, I've not been drinking, so I stopped drinking altogether.
Because you're on a fitness mission, eh? At
Well,
the
I
moment.
did, and I it's just an easy way to cut calories. And then
Yep.
secondly,
All in, all out.
I am willing all out, and I have to.
Whereas
be
I'm a
because
moderation is key. Little bits.
that's what I was just
you
thinking.
know,
That's the difference
That's
is
an acquired
between
skill, eh?
you and me. Is like, you can have 2 glasses of wine and really appreciate them. I have 2 glasses. I'm on the blower. Like,
What are we doing?
oh, fuck, it's a weekend ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's called texting
And
the
I'm
ex.
So but yeah, it's sort of a reminder that you can add that back in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there? I know this is probably a naive thing to say. Is there a cheat sheet that you have for, say, the basic? If you walked into a supermarket, if you kind of know what you're wanting,
Right.
do you have like a cheat sheet? Like if someone wanted a red, that but they don't like X or Y. Do you have anything like that in the back of your mind? Or?
No, you have to buy it from Wine Friend.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I
You
guess
go
the
and tell
thing-
them about your palate.
Yeah, there you go.
It's really interesting though that he says that because so many people say I don't know how to choose a wine. Like if I am in a shop and I have to buy a bottle, I don't know how do I figure out what I'm going to enjoy. And for a lot of people, it really just comes down to do you like red or white? But okay, let's say you like white wine.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like sweeter styles of white wine, or do you like drier styles of white wine? And when you know what sweetness feels like on your palate, you know what it tastes like. Dryness is that sort of high acid. The higher acid, the more acid in a wine, the drier it's going to be, or the more acid and tannin, the drier it's going to be. The higher the alcohol level, the drier the wine is going to be. So, and the reason for that is, grapes are sweet. They're a sweet fruit. They come in, they get crushed. The juice is very, very sweet. The winemaker will either add yeast or, the yeast from the environment will just kickstart a ferment. And that yeast swims around in that juice and goes chomp, 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 like little Pac-Mans eating the Pac-Men.
Pac-Man, Pac-Mice.
Again, my command of the English language, not good. Thanks, menopause. But they swim around, chomping through the sugar molecules in the wine, the sweetness in the wine, metabolizing it into alcohol. So as the yeast does its work, the alcohol level will climb and the sweetness will fall.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, the sugar's being eaten to make the alcohol. So if a winemaker wants to make a wine sweeter, what the winemaker will do is measure the amount of sweetness and the alcohol in the wine, and when it gets to the desired level of sweetness, they'll stop the ferment. Like they might chill the tank. That's a way of making the yeast go and die, and they can't live anymore. And then the wine gets made, put in the bottle, and it's sweeter. So the lower the alcohol, the sweeter it's going to be. So just pick up that bottle, look at the alcohol level. If you see a bottle of, let's say a bottle of Riesling, right, which is less than 12% alcohol, 12% is like sort of the median, for when a wine flips into dry.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's less than 12% alcohol or 12.5%, then the wine is going to be sweeter. Because it's got less alcohol in it. So the natural sweetness is going to be higher.
Okay.
If you're picking up a bottle of Riesling, or let's say Chardonnay, and it's 14% alcohol, which a lot of them are, it's going to be dry.
A little bit dry.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and it's going to feel a bit warmer on the palate. So you know how you like that Sophia Merlot from Craigie Range? The alcohol content is up around that mark, between sort of 12 and 14%, and it's going to feel drier, like you're going to feel those prickly, tannins around your gums, but it's going to feel warm. You're going to have this lovely warmth on your palate, which means the alcohol is there, it's kicking in, it's slightly higher, and it's not a sweet wine at all, but it has fruit characters to it, So simple trick. If you like dry wines, get the ones with higher alcohol. If you
go.
like sweet wines, get the ones
Shot
with
uni.
ones with lower alcohol.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, that is amazing. What an awesome. Thank you so much for
right.
coming on.
Oh, there's just with that sweetness though, really quickly. Like you know how with dessert wine, how
Yeah.
it's in the little bottles
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's kind of syrupy and,
Yeah,
and
sticky.
sticky. A lot of people think because it's in a little bottle and it's really, really sweet that it's really boozy, but it's
not.
totally opposite.
It's quite sweet. Yeah.
Really, the alcohol is usually
Quite low.
maybe 10%, sometimes
Yeah.
lower. So they're actually, even though they're super sweet, they're actually lower in alcohol. So
Yeah, right.
yeah, better living, everybody.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I've learned so much today.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I'm actually really amped about that. Yeah. I hope everyone else has enjoyed the podcast as much as I have. Thank you.
Well, welcome. I'm
much.
so excited for that you invited me along.
Oh,
This is cool.
That's great.
Yeah, next time
Great.
you're when you're in Hawke's Bay,
Yep.
we'll go and do a bit of a tiki tour. around some of the
Yeah.
restaurants and-
Yes.
and
Yeah,
I'll
we
get
have
you a
to come back
meatball.
down. It's yeah.
I can't get over that. Eh?
Yeah. You would lose it.
Simplicity. It's
Yeah.
fine.
I don't know. It's radical.
Oh,
When's the food and wine classic?
Oh, I don't know. Don't ask me.
Okay.
A
I'll have to look
complicated
into that,
question.
'cause
It's
that
really
sounds cool.
soon. It's
Yeah.
really soon. I think it's the beginning of March.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I think. Don't quote me. God, sorry, Fork.
No, that's all right. All right. Thanks very much. Have a good week, guys. Thanks so
you.
much, Yvonne.
Cheers.
See ya. Thanks for listening to the Pepper and Me podcast, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. And if you're interested in any of the products that we're talking about, you'll find us at pepperandme.co.nz.